Hello and welcome to Network. My name is Spumelele Zondi with your technology and social media news. We hope you still are safe where you are and leaving home only if you really have to. Remember that it's SABC Network now. That's on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. News Network at sabc.co.za on email. This week, our Twitter poll is asking you if you think Facebook promotes hate. This as a number of American advertisers have pulled off Facebook or stopped advertising on Facebook. This as they say the platform allows hate to breed. Results of that are coming up later in the program. But firstly, here's what's coming up tonight. We are often encouraged to buy South African products, but how easy is it to find them online, buy them online, or even just get prices online without being told to send a DM? We review the Huawei P40 Pro smartphone. And in our discussion with Dr. Edma Mare from the Namibia University of Science and Technology, we chat about the latest internet blockade in Ethiopia. Have you ever tried to buy a South African product online, and when you inquire about the price on social media, you are told to send a DM? Or if you look for it on a platform which actually sells products, you find that you can't really find this South African product. This week, producer Lebo Mokomela is looking at how easily we can buy South African products online, especially during these COVID-19 times, as we are told to social distance.
This is Fabrice Moyo, a businessman in the fashion industry. Having set up shop in 2003, about 17 years ago, Fabrice says that he had started the process of gradually bringing his clothing store online, but he saw himself needing to accelerate the conversions due to lockdowns caused by the COVID-19 pandemic.
We've always knew that digital selling on social media or digital platform, online selling will be the future. You know, it was never. I never doubted that. You know, we're gonna get there. But COVID-19 just forced us to speed the process.
Regulations imposed by the government in efforts to flatten the coronavirus curve found many small businesses holding on by a thread for survival. But where there's a will, there's a way, like this food merchant, Love and Light Cafe, that used WhatsApp as an alternative to continue operations.
Strangely enough, we found that mass marketing sort of worked against us. We have a Facebook page, we have an Instagram page, and marketing on those platforms we found got us a lot of interest from people that were too far from the business. You know, we couldn't deliver. We are based in Auckland Park. We couldn't deliver to all of Johannesburg. There is a limited radius within which we could deliver. And how do you make sure that you are targeting a client that is within that radius, that is within reach of the business? And we found that, you know, we had to find ways of simplifying our presence. Whereas a lot of the time in a growing business, you want to be out there, you want everyone to know about you. We needed to market to the right crowd. And we found that, you know, WhatsApp became the best tool for us. Updating statuses, getting our friends to update, getting our customers to update on their statuses about the meals that they'd purchased from us.
Telkom has also performed a digital facelift to their previously Bible-like telephone directory listing. They say this was done to assist small businesses.
So you'd remember that Telkom over the years, they've owned a company called Yellow Pages. You'd remember that, the good old print in a book, which was the telephone directory in essence. So small businesses over the past, 50, 60 years, find an opportunity of actually advertising their services on the actual telephone book itself. So over time, it evolved from white and black pages into the Yellow Pages, where you actually had, at the back of the actual telephone directory, a listings of business services. And a lot of people that actually liked using it a lot, and because they trusted the people that were on the book, that they were the real McCoy, that actually deliver on the right service. And in the past decade, and I think just after the 2010 World Cup, Yellow Pages launched a new online platform basically to actually enable businesses to list themselves on an online platform, which was called yellowpages.co.za. It's got its own app as well that you could actually download, and it will connect you to small businesses.
But the country's exorbitant data costs and other connectivity issues have left other businesses lagging behind in the digital migration.
When I touched on the question of accessibility, an issue is you have to have data to access a government website. And to me, that's a problem. Because if government is now sending messages on how to behave, how to conduct yourself in the COVID lockdown, state of things, I shouldn't have to pay to get that information. I shouldn't have to pay to get access to finding a tender and applying and running a business or supplying for government. Right? So accessibility is a huge issue. How do I address a mum Gugu who sells Fred Cooks on the side of the street? I have to start engaging your network providers and say, guys, please give these type of businesses accessibilities to run online stores, to run delivery systems, to run ERP systems for their businesses. So accessibility touches on that. Right now, we are experiencing a very expensive access to the network or to the World Wide Web.
Because of the fourth industrial revolution, the world is rapidly moving to digital spaces. From 5G networks to businesses incorporating artificial intelligence solutions. However, these technology advancements are still a bridge too far from most South Africans, especially those running formal or informal small businesses. Hopefully, this will change in the near future.
We often hear about how a lot of languages die every day, and these days some say it's because of technology, as we are not developing languages to use when describing technologies. But some say technology can actually help languages survive. Here's producer Sandile Hlangani.
Exposure to modernization is bringing uncertainties to the lifestyle of many traditional tribes on the African continent. These members of the Samburu tribe in Kenya shared their feelings about their culture and the changes modern elements have brought to their people. For outsiders, Samburu is perhaps most well known for its warrior men and colorful clothing. However, the warriors fear that their culture may disappear with technology and the coming generations.
Ngumu sana Samburu haishana na culture. Najua wakiachana na culture, mambo zingine zote sitapita na sio mzuri. Ndio unaona inakuja kupotea kabisa baada ya miaka. Itakuja kuisha kwa sababu kuna generation nyingine ambayo inakuja sasa tujifinya hawa wataishi kwa maisha si.
While elders of the Samburu tribe are worried about their culture, a South African language app developer thinks that technology has a positive impact on language learning.
Ambani is really a learning platform. We wanted to create resources for learning African culture and learning African languages, and it was also important for us to use technology as far as possible. So what we do really is that we support the education system, we support education through creating learning resources that use technology to make learning a more holistic experience for young learners.
After noticing a shortage of books written in African languages, Mukundi Lambani developed an app to help children learn different African languages by making animals come to life through augmented reality.
So right now we are focused on early childhood development. So our age group is anyone from the age of 3 to about 7 years old, and that's really the age bracket we're working with. Because it uses sound, because it's very visual, because it uses 3D, it's really a holistic way of learning versus just sort of reading or writing.
However, in many aspects, the traditional tribe welcome modernization. Ambani's goals are to promote African languages and culture.
Sort of zoom in and zoom out on the animals as well.
This is the Huawei P40 Pro smartphone. A lot of people would have thought that it would come with the Harmony operating system that was spoken about last year. But Huawei has gone Android, which means if you are familiar with Android devices that you would have used, they include LG, Samsung, and previous Huawei devices, then you would find this one easy to use as well. But because of the problems in America, Google pulled its products away from Huawei devices, which means they don't come pre-installed on this one. What you can do, though, is to clone your devices that you are familiar with, and as Huawei has made it easy for you to do this, as they've pre-installed clone apps. And you probably just want to find out about the camera, as most people really use the camera more than any other things on their devices. Huawei continued to work with Leica on their P40 Pro. And for that, we decided to give the phone to fitness influencer and fitness trainer Ngobi Gunene, who's on the current issue of the men's health cover.
My name is Ngobi Gunene. I'm a fitness trainer and I'm a model as well. I'd say one thing that really just tops it off is the graphics, the picture quality, and obviously how to erase what you don't want in the picture or video. I use it for my emails. I use it for connecting with people, WhatsApp, call, voice call, video call, if you want to have a meeting with somebody. So it really does have the features that I need. I'm also able to connect with the people that I train. I had fun just taking videos, taking some of the workouts that I do as well. It's got good graphics, good features. I also like the technology that's used for fitness. Social media side of it, I think it's very quick. You know how to maneuver between apps easily, which is very good on my side because I sometimes work with Facebook. I've got clients on Facebook as well. I'm able to connect to my clients on Instagram as well. So I can also do my live sessions. It's exactly what I need.
After the break, we chat to Dr. Edmaya Mare from the Namibia University of Science and Technology. It is SABC Network on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. News Network at sabc.co.za on email. Welcome back. Now, Ethiopia has had a few internet blockades in the past. They've even arrested bloggers known as the Zone 9 bloggers, which we've told you about here on Network in previous years. This is because they did not like what the bloggers, also known as students, were sharing on their platforms. Ethiopia has blocked the internet yet again. This is because of protests that have been happening for the last 2 weeks. They started with the killing of a popular singer in the country. But it's been difficult to get information out of Ethiopia because of the internet blockage that's been happening. Citizens can't share what's going on. And information that's coming out is mostly controlled by the state. This has received widespread condemnation from a lot of people. There are also reports that more than 100 people have been killed in the Horn of Africa nation as a result of the protests that have been going on. Now, to discuss issues in Ethiopia, I am joined by Dr. Edmaya Mare, who is with the Namibia University of Science and Technology. He often researches issues of media freedom across the African continent. Dr. Mare, thank you very much for being a part of our network. Maybe if you can start by explaining what actually is going on in Ethiopia at the moment.
Thank you once again for inviting me on this program. This time around, we're talking about the internet shutdown that happened in Ethiopia on the 30th of June. Now we're almost 8-9 days after the latest round of internet shutdowns, which raises a lot of problems in terms of why would such a country that is has been seen as a beacon of hope in terms of democratic consolidation ever since the rise of the latest leader that who is actually ruling that particular country. And the other issue I think that really comes to the fore is that I think the more things change, the more they remain the same.
Now, Dr. Mare, internet shutdowns were known of Ethiopia's previous administration, but it wasn't really expected of this administration. And they were also actually known of arrests of bloggers as well.
In many ways, the script has remained the same. So sometimes we focus more and more in terms of regime change, in terms of just changing a few individuals, human beings that are part of the system, but without changing the system itself.
Would it be easy to get information out of Ethiopia during this current shutdown?
So essentially, when there is an internet shutdown, like the one that we've just seen over the past couple of days, it raises serious problems in terms of access to information for people, but also it affects livelihoods of people, because most of the people, increasingly, especially young people, are actually, gaining their livelihoods through the use of digital platforms. So that also raises serious problems. But to try and contextualize what really happened, what we have right now, the credible sources that we have right now are saying that this latest round of, state-ordered internet shutdown happened after the government, the government realized that there was an unrest, that happened after the killing of a very prominent musician and activist by the name Huchala Hundessa, who died a few days ago in Addis Ababa. And when that happened, I know that the prime minister, quickly came out there and tried to console the family of the deceased, and also reassured people that they were going to launch a very robust investigation into the death of this prominent activist. But I think people were not really calmed down. They continued to raise issues about it, and that culminated in a situation where government to say enough is enough. Let's probably just close off the internet for some time and see how things develop from here.
How robust is the media scene in Ethiopia?
It has remained very much, authoritarian in many ways in terms of the manifestation of the way how they do their things, but also even in terms of their view of how the media ought to operate. I think it still boils down to that authoritarian media system, kind of, a landscape where they try to control as much as possible these media systems. So if you look even at the media landscape in Ethiopia is dominated pretty much by the government. For example, in terms of the broadcasting space, you see there the government owns the Ethiopian TV. They also own Radio Ethiopia. They also own Voice of Tigray Revolution. Again, of course, there are pockets here and there of privately owned radio stations, privately owned television stations like Fana TV, Walter TV, and Esa TV. But again, if you look at the reach and also the distribution of these platforms, they tend to be focused more on urban spaces, which means people in rural areas have limited access to credible and verifiable information, and that raises serious problems, especially in a context where more and more people were turning towards these online platforms like your WhatsApp and also your Facebook, and also use of SMSs and also smartphones generally.
And Dr. Mare, in general, have African governments improved on issues of media freedom?
It's very interesting that over the last couple of years or even a decade, the number of internet shutdowns that we have witnessed in this particular continent has just been outstanding to actually very interesting to say the least, because all of a sudden we've seen so many countries that you thought probably because of their democratic credentials they would stand up for internet freedom, they would stand up for openness, they would stand up for access to information, but that hasn't really happened. We've seen more and more internet shutdowns.
Apart from Ethiopia, which other African governments are problematic when it comes to internet shutdowns?
Example, in Zimbabwe, we saw that in 2019, we also saw the same in 2016. We also saw the same trend in DRC soon after the elections. We also saw the same trend again in Chad. We saw the same trend again in Cameroon. We have seen this trend. It's a very worrying trend, but it also demonstrates the kind of leadership that we have.
What does the African Union say about internet shutdowns in various countries, as they often happen here in Africa?
The African Union is very explicit and very candid about this whole issue in terms of, it's the African Declaration on Internet Rights and Freedoms, which is very explicit in terms of dealing with these particular issues. It actually says that, the internet must be freely available, accessible, and also must be affordable for almost every other African, so that they can be able to enjoy, their own basic rights, because they see internet as an extension of our offline rights. So it's very explicit at that level.
We can talk a lot about these issues, but Dr. Edmaya Murray, we are out of time. Thank you very much for being a part of our network.
Thank you.
It is SABC Network on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Use network at sabc.co.za on email. Welcome back. Here's what else took place in the rest of the world in the technology space.
Facebook, Google, and Twitter suspended processing government requests for user data in Hong Kong. The move comes in response to China's establishment of a sweeping new national security law for Hong Kong. In an illustration of worries about the law, short-form video app TikTok announced it would be pulling out of the Hong Kong market. Facebook, which also owns WhatsApp and Instagram, said in a statement it was pausing reviews of all its services pending further assessment of the national security law. Google and Twitter said they suspended their reviews of data requests from Hong Kong authorities immediately after the law went into effect last week. And now in the UK. Britain risks throwing away its long-standing relationship with China if it bans Huawei from its 5G networks at the request of the United States as part of a global battle for technological supremacy, the UK chairman of the tech group said.
Clearly, they have a lot of existing business, everything from smartphones through to 3 and 4G, as well as this proposed 5G. I think if there's no business and they're prevented from doing business, I would expect them to make decisions to withdraw. Otherwise, why would you stay in a place where you couldn't do business?
The United States has seen the ascendancy of China in technologies such as 5G and AI, he said, mirroring the space race in the 1950s when Russia was first to launch a satellite. A robot equipped with a disinfecting vapor cannon that can sanitize large areas inside and out may help Britain get back to work after lockdown, according to its developers. Forth Engineering came out of furlough to design and build the remote control robot as a response to the coronavirus crisis.
We've developed this robot just to show people what could be done. It's by no means an end product. That's all we can do. If a customer comes and says we want it to be VR, then fine, we can add any sort of technology that's required.
The robot can be radio-controlled, wireless and tetherless, and can be adapted for a range of different scenarios.
The hashtag Stop Hate for Profit has seen a lot of American companies pulling their advertising out of Facebook. Now, our Twitter poll this week is asking you if you think Facebook is promoting hate on its platforms. Now, 48% of you say yes, Facebook is promoting hate on its platforms. 9% of you say no. That number is in the minority. 21% of you say you actually don't know about this, and 22% of you say you do not care. Now, post-truth politics is killing us, otherwise known as populist morons, says it is not only that they profit from hate, they provide shelter to extremists, fake news, insurrection, racism, terrorism, misogyny. Facebook has radicalized more people than any Nazi propaganda did. They are a public health hazard. These are not our views. They are views of our viewers and those that responded on social media. And that's it. That's all we have for you. Find us on SABC Network. Now, that's on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. It's News Network at sabc.co.za on email. From me, Spumelele Zondi, and the rest of the team right here on Network. Stay safe and stay home. Have a good one. Good night.